Hello, everyone, and welcome to the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominick Dougherty and Drew Fasy.
And we are your local guys.
See that I was practicing that. I went with a different hand today.
Practicing, yes.
Yeah, I had to practice.
Yes.
So Drew, man, big day today in town. May 14th, Election Day here in Ocean City. So, we wanted to come on and give the results. First, though, you said you had a little shout out.
Yeah. So the episode tonight is kind of a follow up to the interviews that we did and aired with all the candidates or most of the candidates. Yes, I have a shout out. This is a big one, Dom. The shout out is to Boyer's Market. Boyer's opened within the past week or so for their 100th season.
Wow.
100 years in business. 100 years of making magical cheesesteak.
Now, I didn't want to get into this because, this is election and all. I'm sure you've heard the rumors about the old building on 10th and West has been sold and it's going to reopen. And that the current owner has all of the previous owner's recipes in hand and is possibly even working with previous owners to get some insight as to how to run the kitchen and how to make certain items.
While Tacos lives.
Something close to it. And you got Bakeria 1010 open up on Asbury Avenue. It's going to be a rough summer on the waistline, Drew.
Yeah. Following up on our breakfast episode, I have another shout out to Doozy's Place. Not open yet, opening soon at First and Asbury.
That building down there.
Yeah.
Next to
Doozy's Place. It's one of the Rob girls, very nice young lady. And she's opening up a breakfast and lunch restaurant. Good luck to Doozy's Place.
Yes, good luck. All right, Drew, let's get into the nitty-gritty here. The results are in. There's some data available down at City Hall. And
so this is public information as of a little before 9 o'clock tonight. Polls closed at 8. Totals were tallied. However, they do have the mail-in ballots counted, tabulated, and included. What is not included are provisional ballots.
What actually are provisional ballots, Drew?
So provisional ballots are paper ballots that are delivered election day. All right, so it's not a mail-in; it's a ballot that is filled out on election day at the polling place. But they aren't. There's a few things that could be an issue, so they're not being counted on election day. They have to be vetted,
certified.
if you will, certified. If your registration information is missing or incomplete in the poll book, they don't take you can't go to the booth. If you moved from your registered address to another address in the same county, but did not notify the election board, if you did not provide the required ID when you registered, if there's a marking in the poll book that you applied for an absentee ballot, but you didn't supply the absentee, right?
You showed up to the polls anyway.
Yeah. Or if you didn't provide the proper ID to an election official. So any of those things could create a voter who shows up at the polling place not to be able to step into the booth, but they can fill out a paper registration and submit it, and that goes to the county, and the county has to certify that ballot.
Okay.
So you look at the numbers, and generally there's quite a few mail-in ballots because they're on vacation, they're away for work, they're in Florida, for the winter, but they're New Jersey residents, whatever the case may be. There's generally a lot of mail-in ballots. There are generally not a lot of provisional ballots. So,
True.
in fact, there's very few, generally speaking, there's very few provisional ballots that are included in the final numbers.
But you're saying in these numbers, the mail-in ballots are already included.
The mail-in ballots are included. The provisional ballots are not. So
Okay.
they will be certified over the next 2 weeks, and the final results will be certified by the county by May 22nd. So that's roughly 8 days. That's the kind of the deadline for this election. So although there are few provisional ballots generally, a few provisional ballots could make the difference in at least one of the races.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'll go through the numbers. Okay,
Terry Crowley's got a tight race in the first ward.
So let's go through the numbers. So the first ward, Terry Crowley running unopposed, received 659 votes.
That's it.
That
man should have received 1,000 votes. His kid's going to the University of Florida. Obviously, a good family, good people.
There weren't 1,000 votes cast in the first ward.
Well, I don't know. If I would have voted for him, I could have, but they didn't let me. I was kind of upset about it.
Yeah, there weren't 1,000 votes cast. So he received 659 votes.
I know, Drew. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying he's a good family because his kid's going to Florida.
I know that. I'm trying to skip over that Florida stuff.
If
you want to talk Florida State, then I'll engage.
Listen, Drew, do you know what every Florida State student has?
What's that?
A rejection letter from the University of Florida.
I'm just going to do this for a little bit. I'm going to sit here.
That's okay. That's all right. You got to sleep with a Seminole, so I get it.
All right. Second ward. Keith Hartzell at 353 votes. Paul Stryker at 302 votes. So that's a 51 vote lead for Keith Hartzell. Odds are that there will not be 51 or more provisional votes. So it looks like Keith Hartzell is Keith Hartzell's the winner in the second ward.
He's gonna do looks like he'll have a second tour of duty here as a council member. So good.
Fifth or sixth tour of duty, yeah.
Well, second time around.
Yeah.
Not as in a different ward. Nice. Last time he was an at-large council seat, so this time he's representing his home ward.
Yes.
Which he described my home ward as well too, which he described very well. You can literally do everything here in the second ward. From taking in a classical music show to going for fishing in the bay, swimming on the beach. You got the boardwalk. You got it all. Downtown shopping.
Yep.
You got it all here in the second ward. So, congratulations. I will give a preemptive congratulations to Keith.
Yes. I'm going to skip the third for the time being.
Good call.
The fourth ward, as it stands right now, Dave Winslow has 512 votes. Cecilia Galelli Keys has 380 votes.
Another close one.
Yeah, likely that provisional ballots will not change that race. So it looks like Dave Winslow will be the winner in the fourth ward. Now
Dave is running. Dave kind of filled in that seat, correct? And then he was running for he's had two elections in the past 2 years, so he's really
Yeah, he was appointed last summer. Then he had to run in November. He ran unopposed and won that seat. And now he ran opposed and won that seat.
Dave's been just campaigning.
Yeah.
So
it looks like he's going to be the winner in the 4th. In the at-large council race, Sean Barnes has 1,778 votes. Mike DeVlieger has 1,261 votes. So again, it doesn't look like provisional ballots are going to change that race. It looks like Sean Barnes will be the at-large council person to fill the seat vacated by Karen Bergman. I knew her as Karen Nash 100 years ago, but her name is Karen Bergman. She left to take over the manager of the senior center at the community center. So that's why that council seat is running with the ward council persons.
Yes, Sean, newcomer to the game, first time here, first time really getting involved in politics and coming out with a win. It looks like he's coming out with a win. So, good for him. Sounds like he was.
I think he may have run because his brother ran for the Board of Ed and won, and was named the chairperson of our Board of Education. So Sean had to one-up him by running for council and winning. I'm kidding. That's not. I don't know that's the case. It's just
now they're twins, so there's a chance that they could pull some switcheroos here and there. So just keep, gotta stay on your toes here, Ocean City. You never know who's going to be at what meeting. They can at least fill in. They can fill in for each other if they need to. You know what I mean?
I'm going to start taking pictures and accusing them of switching seats.
No, listen, they're obviously not going to do that. We're just having some fun.
We're just kidding. Come on now. All right. So back to the 3rd ward. The final race. So as of now, we have Jody Levchuk, the incumbent, and we have Amy Vols, the newcomer. As of now, Jody Levchuk has 391 votes. Amy Vols has 389 votes.
Wow.
So we're only 2 votes apart in the 3rd ward.
Wow.
Which kind of is why I was mentioning the provisional ballots and how, generally speaking, there's few. But in this race, 3 provisional ballots falling Amy's way could land her on city council.
Wow, that's pretty close. That's a real nail biter there. Doesn't really surprise me though. After having spoken to both of them on the podcast here, both of them did a tremendous job. Both of them had a lot of really great ideas. So 3rd ward will have a good representative regardless of who's in the seat. Just one or the other might make a big difference though as to the landscape of Ocean City moving forward.
Yeah, agreed. And as a little reminder, 4 years ago, Tony Wilson was the incumbent. I think that was his second 4-year term that he was in, or the end of his second 4-year term. I believe he sat on council for 8 years, if memory serves. Jody was the newcomer and won by only 17 votes. So here we are 4 years later, and we have another super, super tight race in the 3rd ward. I feel for both of them. Everything has been geared up for election day, right? And here you are. They both woke up this morning thinking this is it. I've been working at this for several months. Now, this is the day I'm going to find out. And they're both going to go to bed really not knowing. This race is not decided.
Definitely not.
There could easily be 2 or more provisional ballots that rear their head and decide this race.
Well,
not likely, quite honestly. There's generally, there's not many provisional ballots, but there could be. It's possible.
Well, that's just such a small margin that, like you said, 3 ballots, definitely possible for, user error in the booth, just random stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean, somehow there were 81 million votes casted last, presidential election. So you never know what's going to happen with these elections.
That's right.
We're just going to have to wait and see until they're certified.
Yeah.
So
what's interesting to me is that, the 4th ward is, generally speaking, you think about 34th Street and South, and there's not many. We talked about this, Tom. There's not many people that live down there until you get to Ocean City Homes, of course. But the 4th ward had the biggest turnout. They had close to 900 in-person ballots and another 200 and some mail-in ballots.
Wow.
And the 1st ward, which is the most populated, now I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
I'm told that the 1st ward is the most populated. Now, Terry Crowley was running unopposed. He still got 700 votes or 659 votes. And then there was another 560 some votes for at large. Not a lot relatively, relative to the 4th ward. 3rd ward had a good turnout. 2nd ward had a good turnout, but it was a little surprising to me at the turnout in the 4th ward compared to the 1st ward. Being that you generally think that the 1st ward is more populated than the 4th ward.
Yeah, I mean, people were turning out. This was definitely a big election here. The
at large had over 3,000 votes.
Yeah,
in-person votes, and then another close to over 700, almost 800 mail-in ballots.
Well, it was a hot year. There's like I said, 1 or 2 votes could really shape the way Ocean City looks here in the future. So
absolutely.
We'll see what happens. Best of luck to Jody and Amy there in the 3rd ward, and congratulations to the other candidates on their successful campaigns. And
and again, it looks like Terry Crowley in the 1st, Keith Hartzell in the 2nd, Dave Winslow in the 3rd, Sean Barnes Dave Winslow in the 4th. I'm sorry, Sean Barnes in the at-large council seat, and Jody Lebchuk as of right now, pre-provisional ballots in the 3rd ward.
Yeah. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to the other candidates for, a hard-fought campaign, putting in their time, their effort, and their energy. I'm sure that we'll see a lot of them again here in next election cycle. So,
yep.
Definitely looking forward to that. And looking forward to see how this election, shapes the future of Ocean City over the next 4 years. So,
yep.
Well, everyone, stay tuned. We'll give you more updates as we hear more about the provisional ballots there in the 3rd ward. And, thanks as always for tuning in. This has been the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominick Dougherty And Drew Fasy?
I think you need to use the other hand, man. I'm sorry. There you go. Got to see that big paw of yours. And we are your local guys.
Peace out, everyone.